So I'm gonna ask all of you guys a question in the audience, and if you answer no to this question, I'm very curious to see what you are doing different than I am. So, have you ever applied to a job? Oh, good. At least 2 people in the audience have had a job and have applied for it. I am very proud. So with that, you always have to start off with this thing called a resume. I'm here to help you put together a resume that makes you stand out and gives you a better chance to get recognized with everything going on. You want to give yourself the best chance to stand out because we want to put the human behind the paper. So with that, and with that getting started, we're going to start off with your actual resume. A lot of people say that you have to have a certain amount of pages for your resume to be successful. That is absolutely not true. Your resume can speak on your past experiences and give detail to add value to whatever it is that you have done before. That doesn't make it bad if you have 10 pages. If you have relevant experience that adds value, you add data, and you actually put numbers behind all of that information in your resume. Because the more keywords that you hit on your resume to the job description, you are making yourself relevant. Because what happens is you have a hiring manager, you have a recruiter, you have all of these people looking at your resume. And what are they comparing you to? We are all going back to that same job description. They base it on the skill sets exactly that they need in order to make a very successful hire. So we're gonna start off with your successful skill sets because that is what you really need. Put down every single keyword that you think is right and tailor it to each position. I always hear that a lot of people say, I applied to 200 jobs and I just got rejection, 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 and another rejection. I ask you, why is that? Is it because you're not tailoring it? Because you shouldn't have to apply to 200 resumes, to 200 jobs, and your resume to 200 jobs in order for you to get a call back if you did it correctly. If you applied the keywords, if you applied your skill set and you applied to the right job. So with that, we're gonna put down exactly what skill sets apply to each job and focus more time and energy for tailoring each position and each skill set to every job applied. After we did that, we also want to make sure that it's the correct cultural fit. A lot of times when we interview for a job, we think of this: if they don't like me, I am gonna be so terrified. They have to like me. I need this job. Yes and no. I recently accepted a position and I knew on day 2 that it was a horrible culture fit and just not the right opportunity for me. It was everything that just didn't make me happy to go to work. And why would I want to be at a place that I felt that at? I didn't. So in order to avoid that, I actually learned a lot of things that I could have done to not put myself in that predicament. One of the first things first is interview them as much as they interview you. When I do this comparison, a lot of people laugh, but recruiting is 100% just like dating. First, interview on the phone. You're like, hey, how are you doing? What would you like to do? You figure out the logistics because you figure out if your compensation matches, if you have common interests on a date. You kind of figure out the logistics of everything that's happening, right? I'm assuming that's what you talk to on the first date, people, right? So on your the first real date where you actually meet them in person, you're gonna talk a lot about what makes you you, what makes them them, what makes the company a whole company, what kind of perks they have, just if you can get along with them. And then on the second interview, you're gonna get more into like logistics. You're gonna meet the team. You're gonna probably meet everybody that's involved in the process. This is what I call expedited dating. This is probably like meeting the family. If you can't get along with the family, you're done. Same thing with your team. So on average, we spend 40 hours a week at work. That's at least, correct? Most people spend a lot more time than that. By the time, outside of COVID, you take into account for you driving there, you driving back, that's a lot more hours. Do you realize that most of the time when you spend time with your loved ones, you spend about maybe 3 to 4 hours on your couch while scrolling through your iPhone, trying to figure out whose post to like on LinkedIn or Instagram, and then you're not really even spending quality time with them. So that person is going to be super important with how much time you spend with them. So make sure that when you walk into that relationship of your work husband or work wife, and you're gonna spend 40 hours a week with them, you can get along with them. And you guys can hang out for 40 hours a week until one of you gets fired. So then, we're gonna also talk about one super important thing when applying for jobs. After you're done interviewing, what do you do to stand out? In today's world, if you send a thank you note to them, you're gonna be like everybody else. Everybody sends a thank you note. However, what if you send a personalized thank you note? Go to CVS or order it on CVS.com to get delivered to your house. And then write an individualized thank you note and send it to the person so that way they can open it and say, I thought about this person now and I think of them so much highly. And also, the other thing that I would also suggest doing is if you did not get the job, send a thank you for my rejection email. I know this sounds crazy, and that's the last thing you want to do is say, thank you for rejecting me. But I can guarantee you, if they walk in to their office, they open that email, and there's an email from you that says, thank you for considering me. I understand I wasn't the greatest fit. However, this is why I thought it was super important to send you this. I learned so much from this interview process, and I really enjoyed this about your company. I am so happy to be a part of the process, and I wanted to thank you for it. The next time they will have a job, they will most likely think of you, whatever that job may be. They might have left that company, they might go to another one. So at that point, just make sure to always do that. So with all these tips, I wanted to leave you with just a reminder that whenever you're putting together your resume, remember to put the human behind the paper and represent your values and a little bit of your personality.